As you guys can see, we're still going at it on the home renovation, and we are home today working on the living room. As you can see, I've been doing a lot of sanding. After living in this house for 2 years and looking at these dark walls, we fell in love with them. We're going to keep them. So we decided that we want to keep this whole living room dark stained wood, but we weren't happy with the finish in here. It was all scratched up, poorly applied, uneven. It just didn't look good. So we decided let's sand the walls down, take all the original finish off, mostly just the clear coat. We're hitting through the stain a little bit, but we want to get the clear finish off so that we can re-stain the walls and start over fresh. So that's what I've been working on, and as you can see, making some good progress. It's okay if we don't get all the stain off because we're going to be staining it almost the same color anyway. We just got to freshen it up. So we did this wall, and this wall that was right behind you guys, all done. That whole wall is finished because we have new wood, and then the old original wood, we sanded all down. Looking good. Problem is, we still have quite a bit to do. We got to do this whole wall and this wall right here, both sides of the window. A lot of sanding to go. I've been doing all my sanding with this Makita sander that I have. It works good, but it really messed up my hands. After using this, doing these walls, my hand, first of all, got really cramped up from trying to hold it. It was like my whole thumb was it still feels a little sore. But it cramped my hand up, but worse than that, the vibration of the sander my hand was buzzing for like 2 days, where it's a feeling you get when you use vibrating power tools for too long, where if you touch your fingers together, it just feels like a buzz or kind of a vibration. It's kind of a weird, sensitive feeling. You can lose your sense of touch, and I hate that feeling. So I took a break, and I set out to find a better sander that's not going to mess up my nerves and cause hand and arm damage. So I've been searching around, just trying to figure out the best sander that's not going to mess up my hands, because I need my hands, guys. I work all the time, always doing housework, and I need control and grip, and I can't be down not working for a day just because I used my sander too long. So I settled on this. I shouldn't say I settled, because some of you guys know FESTOOL is a very high-end tool brand. It's actually kind of a luxury tool, I guess, or like a designer tool brand. I wanted to give it a try because after reading the reviews online, I said, is this thing really as good as people say? I know there's some people that don't like them, but a lot of people love these. And I just want to see, is it worth the hype? Is it worth the money? This tool is my new sander. We're going to be putting this one away, upgrading, trying this out. This one is supposed to have a much smoother sanding action, and already I'm liking this grip. You can see the grip is more rectangular instead of round. My sanders always have these big round grips on them, and you really got to stretch your hand around them. Wears me out, so I'm liking this. This feels a lot more comfortable. So this is a corded tool, which is what I wanted. Now they do have a battery powered one. So it locks on. I don't have a dust collector, so I'm going to use their bag that they give. Okay. Guess that's right. I like this right here. This is kind of a neat feature. I'm going to put that on right away. What this shield does is actually just stop you from hitting the edge of your sander into objects, like if you're running along a ceiling or wall, and that's exactly what I'm doing. And I do that often. Let me show you what it does. If I bring over my sander, you can see this one doesn't have an edge guard, so when I come along the walls and ceiling, it hits the edge into the wall and it tears it up. It puts wear on the sander, but also on the sandpaper, you can see where it hits, and you'll always see this on my sandpaper. it really tears up the edges of the sandpaper. And this is actually a sanding net, so I prefer using nets over paper, but you guys get the point. This one has this guard you can put on here so you don't tear up your sander. I like that. Some people do complain about the proprietary hole pattern for their sandpaper because it doesn't match a typical sander. You can see it's not the same hole pattern. So you basically have to use their brand sandpaper. But since I use a sanding net, I don't have to worry about holes lining up. But I did pick up this, which is a protection pad. So what you do is you put this protection pad on here first, and this is actually made for like these types of sandpapers. And what that does is just give you a layer of barrier so you don't wear out your attached pad, like the stock pad right here. And that'll last longer. And now we can take our, these are made by Diablo sand net. I'm using a very heavy grit, but I should be able to put that right on there. Now, they don't recommend using other sandpaper, you know, off-brand like Diablo. They don't recommend that, but I believe it's going to work. We're going to try it out. What's supposed to be really cool about this sander is just that it has an isolated motor, and it's supposed to reduce the vibration a lot. So this is supposed to be very smooth, very easy on your hands, very easy on your nerves. I hope it is. I hope it is the upgrade that I wanted and not a waste of money. This is literally my first time turning this on. Let me lower the speed until I get used to it. Okay. I'm just getting a window fan going in case there's any dust. Well, there it is, another wall done, and it looks okay. Do you notice all these scratches and lines through the wall? That's really cool to see because, well, it's not good, it's not cool, but like, all that is from furniture, chairs, odds and ends, rubbing on the walls over the years and putting dents in the wall. So that's where the finish is kind of dented in and I can't sand it off. And you can see that all along the walls in this room, pretty much all the way around, all the little scuff marks. Keep in mind, this isn't a tool review. I'm just sharing with you guys what I'm doing. But first impressions, I don't know. I just don't know what to think because I expected more. I'll say I'm underwhelmed, not disappointed. Because the hype online was that this thing was silky smooth. Just glides over the surface. You don't even feel it, no vibration. You know, people really love it. I didn't notice that much difference in vibration from this tool. It is lower from this one. It is different. The vibration is different. And I don't know if this one would fatigue me if I used it long term like this one does. That's just something I'm going to have to learn as I go. I'll have to just do a long session and see how that feels on my hand. But it definitely vibrates, so don't think it's vibration free. I would say it's moderately better than this one. I was also surprised that it didn't pick up much dust. It left a lot of dust on the wall, a lot of dust on the floor. This one, it gathers a lot of dust. It has a really powerful suction and it just collects a lot of dust. I'm always emptying it. But this bag was almost empty when I was done. Very little in it. And the other thing I'm noticing is this whole thing is hot. Even the pad is very warm, and I've never experienced that on here after using it. It's always just normal. I don't know why, but this is got a lot of heat to it, and I'm not sure I would be comfortable with getting too much heat down here because you can really gum up a finish if you get too much heat on the surface. Let's say I'm not complaining, I'm just pointing out the things I'm surprised about. The warmth, the vibration, we'll see, and the dust collection was not great. Keep in mind, I'm not using their sanding pads. This sand pad that I'm using, the sand mat, it could contribute to the less than ideal dust collection, definitely. It also could contribute to maybe a little more vibration. That being said, it needs more time. I just need to try it out for a while and see how it feels. I'm gonna keep working and just tackle this room one wall at a time. Probably gonna do this one next. I would love to get that wall done. Well guys, we just completed one more wall of our living room, and I wanted to give an update on my thoughts of the FESTOOL sander. I still have mixed feelings because it's not as good as I hoped. Let me tell you, first of all, the thing that I noticed more than anything is that this tool creates a lot of dust. I know what you're thinking, it's a sander. I'm going to say it again. This sander right here, the Makita, and I'm not promoting this, I'm just saying that this Makita picks up a lot of dust. It fills this bag right up full. It packs it in there tight and leaves very little dust behind. This has excellent dust collection, but this sander, which costs more than 2 times more than that sander, high-end German-made tool, it barely collects anything. When I'm done sanding, this bag is almost empty. I would say that it's collecting about 5% of the dust that it creates, and the rest of it lands on the floor, and it just makes a huge mess. Now the other thing is that it is not vibration free. I'm telling you, when I read those comments online, people said no vibration, and this is Amazon, this is Rockler, this is all these woodworking sites, whatever. People in the forums, and they say, wow, this is smooth and zero vibration, and you know, this perfect. It feels like a little less vibration than my other sanders, but it definitely vibrates, and there's no way you're gonna go all day with this thing like they claim. Now I know that I mentioned it could be partially because of my sandpaper, using the off-brand paper on this tool, but I upgraded again, and I bought the full FESTOOL sandpaper collection. So I am using name brand overpriced sandpaper on the tool. It's just not good dust collection and a little bit of vibration. It's still okay though, and I don't know if this grip is any easier to hold. It's not, it's fine, it doesn't offend me. I'm gonna keep going. This right here is the last wall in our living room to sand down. That's pretty exciting. It's not even that big, even though I do have to install some new wood above the doors here, but I'm just gonna focus on this area for now. We'll get this sanded down, and we'll be done. Well guys, we are done. My wrist hurts. I'm glad it's over with. We finished the wall, and that completes the entire sanding of the living room. Minus in the hallway, there's some wood up here above the doors that I still have to replace. Now I can't really do that because I have to repair the ceiling. The ceiling is kind of messed up there, so once the ceiling is in, I'll finish that little wall around the doors, and then this room is ready for stain. That's exciting. Well, of course, we still have to wipe it down also. Let's not forget that. We'll have to take some damp rags and go over all the surfaces to get that sanding dust off. But regardless, it's still a big step forward, and the living room's looking awesome. Took a long time. It actually took longer than it should have because I kept waiting for tools to come, hoping there would be a better answer to my sanding dilemmas and my hand problems. So did the FESTOOL, I don't know. Is that FESTOOL or FESTOOL? Did it work out? Is it worth it? I'm honestly going to say for a DIY situation, if you're just a simple DIYer like us, I would say it's probably not worth the investment. Unless you have hand problems, circulation problems, nerve damage, carpal tunnel, then it might be worth it just to get the benefits wherever you can. If you do a lot of sanding, I mean like hours of sanding, it might be worth it. But for a general DIYer that doesn't do too much sanding, you're probably better off just getting a good Bosch, Makita, even DeWalt. Just get a decent sander. Don't get a cheap sander, get a decent one, and just take breaks. Take hand breaks, that's the best you can do. That being said, I like some of the features. This thing I still love. The guard around the disc, that is really cool. And I wish more sanders would have that because I could run it along the ceiling, along the walls without ruining my pad. It does have less vibration, but after an hour or so, I still start getting a little bit of buzzing in my hands, and you'll see I switch hands often. See, I shouldn't even be having that. I switch it a lot because I'm doing the walls, and it just gets tiring to hold my arm up. So that's why I switch a lot. And also, I have some wrist pain from other work I've been doing. So disappointing. Right now, you can see this, it's empty. I would say there's maybe this much dust in the bottom of this bag. It's empty, okay? And I did the entire wall. So this whole wall with this sander, without emptying it, that's how much I have in there. I can feel it. Maybe a little less than an inch. So, like I said, dust collection is not that great. And you have to buy the proprietary sanding pads because these holes don't line up with a standard sandpaper. You can actually see they're spaced out wider and they're just in a different location. So you can't just run to the store and pick up sandpaper easily. You have to order it online most likely. Now, sanding nets like this one, which I really love using, that can solve that problem. That makes a big difference. I don't know if I saw a big difference between using these and using these as far as vibration or dust. I think it was the same. In fact, these might even help with the dust collection because they're so airy. But these FESTOOL sanding discs, I was impressed with how long they lasted. Lasted a lot longer than my sanding mesh does. So pretty good longevity on that. I think I just used 3 of them. And it might seem like a lot, but I don't like... Sandpaper loses its oomph, and I like it to be nice and rough and fresh. So they still, even though I went through 3 of them, they still have life in them. I just like changing it probably a little more than I have to. And I also did sanding over here, keep in mind. Anyway, I don't need to dwell on it. I would say you're probably paying more for the brand than anything else. It has some cool features. It is less vibrating. At least it comes with a cool box to store everything in. The next step is going to be, like I said, cleaning these walls, getting them stained, and I know you guys are going to hate it, but we have to do it because it just feels right, and we're going to stain it dark, and we're going to make this living room look almost like it did before. The whole reason of sanding it was only to take off that clear finish. I'll just remind you, because we're at the end here, that the clear finish just didn't adhere to the wood very well. So if we put tape on the wall and we pull the tape off, the clear finish comes with it, and you don't want that under any finish you put on your wall. We made that mistake in the bedrooms with the paint. We want a durable wall surface that's not going to be pulling off later on in the future. So hopefully this is worth all the effort we're putting into it. And it feels good to have our living room coming together. I think that's all we have for now. So thanks for watching. And until next time, take care.